Hey Hotshots, Jess with Emotional Fire Academy, here today to talk about You're the Only One in Your Reality, an introduction to the universe. Subscribe, welcome to the channel. This is where we step into our hero consciousness, eliminate suffering, and create the life we want. Welcome, I'm Jess. I'm trying out some new lighting and a plant today. I look a little ethereal. I'm realizing maybe light gray isn't the best for my background, but let's just roll with it. Let's just roll with it today. It's a good day to look more ethereal. So we're going deep into the rabbit hole as I promised you, as that's where the channel's going. So we're going deep today. Here's some deep thoughts. Why is this important? Why is realizing, believing, coming to terms with, acknowledging that we're the only one in our reality important? Because when it really sinks in, your entire belief systems shift. When I really got this, wow, like everything, because a lot of our beliefs come from this me against the world. A lot of that creates a power imbalance, right? That we are an object in the world. There's a physical reality that we're interacting with that has as much or more power over us. And it creates a lot of these beliefs that cause us emotional pain. Because that's the power imbalance. When you feel negative emotion, that's a power imbalance. And so that power imbalance comes from you against the world. That's the baseline belief that I'm just a cog in the wheel. I'm a tiny little element in this physical reality, and I'm fighting against it. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to accomplish something, and it's not happening. And all of that causes negative emotion, that power imbalance. So when you remove that, when you're like, everything is me, and this is how I understand it in my reality. So I'm an awareness in my reality. I am an awareness. I am just an awareness. That's all I am at the end of the day. I talked about this check out the video if you haven't seen it yet. The world is a dream in your senses. Because that kind of explains that I am just an awareness. And so in my reality, in my hologram, we all have our own holograms. If anyone outside of me actually exists, I can never know that. You can never know. You can never know if I exist. That's just something that is not privy to us. That's kind of like in the gap, which I'm going to tell you about in a few minutes here. So I create my reality from my subconscious mind. My subconscious mind, from what I believe is real, my beliefs about what is real, about what reality is. This is real. And so I project it into my senses, and then I have a sensory experience of that, which I think is real. So I am the world. So when people say the world is a cruel place, the world is horrible, the world is in pain, the world is broken, it's because you're making it that way. My world is happy. My world is awesome. My world is peaceful. My world is good. Yeah, I have a couple little snafus that come up every once in a while, but on the whole, I live in a happy, healthy, awesome world. I invite you to create that in your own reality. Because saying the world is cruel and horrible, and it twists my heart when I read that in people's comments, because I'm like, you're making it that way. You're creating it that way. Many people will say, well, I didn't create that. Why would I create that? Why would I generate that? Because you have a belief that there is a world outside of you, and that world has its own agency. The world has no agency. Nothing exists outside of your awareness. In your reality, as far as you are concerned, from your point of view, nothing exists outside of your awareness. Nothing. There is no tangible physical world that exists independently of you. You can only know from your perspective, right? From your point of view, from your awareness. And so when your awareness goes somewhere else, so does the world. The world goes with you because you're generating it, right? You're generating it. Your subconscious mind generates your tangible physical reality that you experience. And what you believe, the beliefs you put into your subconscious mind, are what then get projected. And we formed a lot of these beliefs as children. we suddenly appeared in this existence of the lifetime that we're experiencing, and we made a lot of assumptions about how it all worked, right? We made a lot of assumptions. And so we're living out those assumptions now at wherever point of life we are. We're living them out. I'm here to tell you that from what I've experienced, um, we all are generating this hologram of our own reality, our own layer of reality, our own existence. And this is a beautiful thing because it's like, it's like a breath of fresh air. Then it's like, it's just me here. It's just me in my reality. It's just me. You don't have to worry about trying to change people, trying to get things, trying to work so hard in the 3D. It's like, all I have to change is me. All I have to learn is me. All I have to understand is me. And I will unlock whatever I'm seeing out in the world. I will unlock it and it will then appear in my reality, in my hologram. So, I mean, if you think about this logically, this is how I like to explain it to people. And I made a video about communication. I'm going to link it above because it really proves the point. I recommend you go watch that video about communication with highly sensitive people. Ignore the title. It's relevant for everybody. But the version of me that I know, that I personally know, and familiar with, acquainted with, understand, is not the version of me that you know watching this video, right? Because logically, we think about this, my point of view is different than yours. I can never have your point of view. You know, I can imagine it. I can imagine your point of view because ultimately I'm creating you. I'm creating the version of you that I'm interacting with. Even though I maybe don't know you, you're just watching this video. But I have an image in my mind of who you are and, you know, why you're watching this video that I'm then attending to in my reality, right? I'm creating videos for who I think my viewer is. I might not never ever meet you. And so that version of you that I'm creating, that I'm attending to, is my own creation. The same kind of with me. As you watch me, as you listen to my words, your mind, your consciousness is weaving together all this data, right? And filtering it through your experiences, your memories, for your actual real-time experience of me as you're watching this video that is unique to you, right? Nobody else will have that same experience of me that you will have in right now as you're watching this. And those two versions, the version of me that I know, the version of me that you know, will never meet. They exist in totally different places, in totally different realms, in completely different holograms and realities. So this is how it's actually kind of a perfect system. Like when I've thought about this, I'm like, wow, this is a perfect system from a spiritual perspective, from, you know, a lot of people have this idea that life is a school. Life is a school, right? We came here to learn. We came to Earth to learn as souls. And if you arrived here in your own hologram where you essentially play out your own stuff and you don't actually have access to versions of other people, you're entirely self-generating everybody else around you, everything else around you, you're auto-generating it. It's kind of a perfect system because it's like if you're learning, if you're making mistakes, then you don't actually hurt anyone, right? Because the people and things you experience only exist in your own mind, in your own consciousness, in your own awareness. So you don't actually hurt anyone. You're always safe. And it's kind of perfect. It's just like, that's amazing. Like, I would like to think that maybe everybody else is having the same thing. Like we're all in these, you know, holographic versions of our own reality, learning and experiencing and creating whatever we want to create, whether that's heaven or hell, good or bad, wrong or right. Like we're all making this up. We're all creating it in our holograms. Like how perfect is that? How interesting is that? How fascinating is that? And what I cannot know from my perspective is whether there is anything else outside of me that is real, that has existence beyond my awareness. Like, AKA, is everybody else real? Or are they all doing this in their own realities? I'd like to think so. And in me thinking so, I create that then to be real. If I say that there is nobody but me in the entire universe, then that's what I create if I really believe that. So in this way, in the manifesting world, when people say you're the God of your reality, and I really don't like to use the word God because it's so loaded, it's such a loaded word. But this is essentially what it means, is that you're the only one in your reality. You're the only one there. Everybody else, you have auto-generated within your own consciousness. Your experience of them, you've created in your hologram from what you believe about them, what you believe about the world, what you believe about yourself. You've projected them into your senses where you then experience them and think that they're something outside of you. But the beauty of this is how we're able to manifest. This is how we are able to do the amazing things that manifestation claims that we can do, because we've created our SP from the beginning. We've created that version, so we could just as easily create a different version. We've created all our relationships with our family members. We have created, and we might have done this unconsciously, a lot of these things are running on autopilot, and manifestation is the process of learning how to take them off of autopilot and put them transition them into conscious awareness so we can then direct the outcome consciously instead of letting it just run and run and run and run on autopilot. So everything in the world you see, you've made. The pen on the table, this plant, me, you've made it in your mind. You've created it in your hologram. Good job. It's beautiful. Like, when you think about it, when I go for a walk and I look at the mountains and the people I'm passing that smile at me, and I'm like, this is all me. It's beautiful. It's all me. It's all me, right? All those sensory experiences are me. They're not things outside of me. They're my hologram. How beautiful is that? And I say, good job, me. Good job. Wow, that's incredible. It's so empowering. It's so empowering. Try this. I encourage you to go deeper into the universe, to get to know the YOUniverse, YOUniverse. It's funny, I thought about this word, popped into my head, and then I realized it was actually out there existing on other YouTube channels. So I did organically come to that word. Of course, then it showed up in my reality. But yeah, and I have 3 free resources for you. If you really want to wrap your head around this, if you want to get deeper into how we create reality, how we are the only ones in our reality, how the hologram, if you want to start to piece together how we do this, the nuts and bolts, the nitty gritty, check out the description box below. I'm going to put 3 free resources. One is the book, How Emotions Are Made by Lisa Feldman Barrett. This will start to change your relationship to emotion, which has power over many of us, many people. Emotion has power over us. Read that book first. It talks about simulation, which is imagination, which is how we're creating consciously. Like, imagination, simulation is the conscious creation part. We're running simulations. We're thinking about things, and then they appear in our reality. There's layers to this, as I described in the sensory dream video. So read that one. Read Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Again, free. This, again, will start to change your beliefs about how reality is made. And then the big mama jama, if you really want to go deep into this, if you want to have your mind blown out of your ears, there is a CIA document that exists that talks about a certain process that was developed. I forget the name of the process, but the nature of the document is describing how the universe works in a nutshell. And it is mind-blowing. Like, I almost can't understand it. It's so mind-blowing. And this was put out by the CIA. This is one of the documents that was released in the Freedom of Information Act. or whatever act allowed classified documents to finally be released to the public. But I will link that below too, because it talks about the absolute, absolute, which is everything, is the entirety of everything. You could call it God. You could call it, the nothing. You can call it whatever you want, but they call it the absolute. And how it's this giant egg-like thing, and the past, present, and future simultaneously exist at one time, and it's doubling back on itself. It's really kind of crazy and amazing and fascinating. So, you want to loosen up those old beliefs about how the world works? Read that document. Read those books. You're never going to be the same again. And those books I use for clients. I'm not holding anything back on this channel. I use those books with clients to help them shift those beliefs as well. So let me know what you think. Check out those resources, read it, get deep into it, and continue watching the channel, because I'm going to keep explaining how we exercise our power in our own reality. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your viewership. Talk to you later.